Hey guys, good evening. Hey everyone, good evening. Is my audio and video okay? Can somebody confirm me if my audio and video is okay or not? Okay, I hope that is fine. Right, so let me revise what we did yesterday. Awesome. Thank you, Rohit. Right, we were creating a daily planner, right? Where every you give it an array of strings for every hour that you are doing, right? It starts from 9 a.m. and it ends at 8 p.m. And every half an hour, it checks whether something is starting or you have to send a motivational quote or something is ending, right? So we started with index.js where we had our Express, we had our Morgan, right? Uh, we created an API for scheduling. We connected with Redis, right? Using Redis client.connect. We integrated Redis over here where we required Redis. We used Redis.create client and we used the URL on which the Redis needs to be done, right? This URL I've added afterwards for today's class, right? Then we have this Redis client.on error. Whenever any error comes to Redis, this console log comes up, right? Then we have our controller where we have written the API thing, right? We get something like this. From 9 to 10, I'm doing gym. From 10 to 11, I'm doing nothing. From 11 to 12, I have to go to college, right? You get it in schedule. You set it in Redis client using Redis client.set, the key and the value, a stringified value, right? You can also get the value using Redis client.get. And if everything goes okay, you send the saved value back to the client, right? Then we also have send message controller where we were setting what we have to do every half an hour. We get the date, we get our minutes using date.getMinutes, and we get our hours. We get our schedule from Redis client. We pass it because we stringified it. The index in the array, we get it from r minus 9. If your minute is 30, then you have to send keep hustling, right? Otherwise, if it is the first event, then you send start your day with whatever the first schedule is. Otherwise, you say that it's time to start this schedule. Was the previous schedule task completed or not? Right? Then in our services, we saw that we put scheduled as false if we do not want the schedule to start automatically, right? This should be 30 and there should be 5 stars. And we start from 9 a.m. So at the minutes it should be 0 and at the hour it should be 9 and the rest 3 stars. It should end on 8:20 p.m. or 2020. So we put job.stop over here, right? This what we did in yesterday's class. Now in today's class we are going to do the deployment in a server called railway.app, right? To do that, I have an environment variable where I have set some Redis related configurations. I've set the port. Okay. I have also created an index.html where I am just putting welcome. In index.js, we have express.static as client. So whenever we hit slash, it will serve index.html to us. Welcome. Right? Now, I have posted to my GitHub account. I have posted to my GitHub account, and we are going to use the railway.app for deployment purpose. Whenever you come to railway.app, you see this button, start a new project. You click on it, you hit on deploy from GitHub repo, right? Then you give this app permission of connecting with GitHub repo and accessing its code. Then when you have the access, when you give him the access, you see all the repos that you have created over here, right? My repo name is day24. I click on this and I hit deploy now, right? It starts deploying. You can see the deployment progress over here. Okay. You can set up some of the variables, or you can insert some shared variables like this. Okay. Since this project requires Redis, then Redis. I need to use Redis, right? I click on new. I click on databases, and I click on add Redis. Right now, I see Redis over here. Let me just zoom out. Yes, I see Redis over here. Okay. Now I have to connect this Redis to this, right? I click on variables and I see all these variables over here. Can you see this? Now I copy paste it somewhere. Let's say in my environment, I have this Redis host, address, password, port, user, URL. I copy these values from there. Redis user, Redis URL. The main thing is this Redis URL, right? I have this in some file. Now I come back to my uh, original project. Okay, click on variables. Now I see all of them over here. I click on this raw editor. I copy this whole thing out and paste it over here. Okay, and hit update variables. These variables are now updated for my project and it will be used as .env for my project. Okay. The main thing is Redis URL and the port, which I have configured over here in my index.js. I have used process.env.port and in my config, I have used process.env.redis URL. Okay. Now it again starts rebuilding because it detects some change. Give it a few seconds. By the time come to setting, scroll down, you will see a generate domain over here. When you click over here, it will give you a URL where you can go and check up your app. Okay, it is building right now, so it will uh, take some time, maybe a minute or so. Right, I think this is ready. Let's see. If something is wrong, you can click on view logs and it will show you the log of whatever is happening. Server is running at this port and connected to Redis. I refresh. There is some server error. Cannot read property of null. Send message 1857. Send message 1857. Okay. Okay. Uh, for this, maybe let's set up some of the values. Cannot read property of null. Okay, let's fix this. This pass schedule it is not getting. So let's put an empty array of it. Okay. It is trying to run the scheduler as well. Let's stop the scheduler for this. Otherwise, it will consume too much of our memory. Right. Let's come over here, comment this out. Okay. What is the changes that I did over here? Forget about it. Okay. Never mind. Git commit. Git push. Whenever you push now, it will automatically restart deploying. See, whenever it detects that some code has been changed, it will automatically start redeploying this or building the app for you. Since I am on a free trial, I have stopped the scheduler. You can try with the scheduler uh, on your own time. The main purpose for this was to show you the deployment. It is very, very straightforward. First of all, you need to add a service or the database, whatever you want to connect. Get the environment variables from that, put it inside your project, okay, and it will start deploying. In the settings, you will find generate domain. You will get the domain on which your product would be running, your app would be running. Okay, let's just wait for some seconds. Okay, awesome. Let us see the logs. Yes, I see welcome over here. That means my app has been deployed and is running perfectly. See, now in the postman, I can use the same URL. In place of localhost, I can use this URL slash API v1 slash schedule to make the API calls, run our schedules, run our task, and so on. Right? This was a straightforward thing. Any doubts over here? You just need to come to railway.app. When you want to delete it, come in the settings and this last delete service from all environments. You have to type in the project name and hit delete. Okay, let's delete this as well. Right, it will not ask you for any uh, credit card or anything. You simply have to go to railway.app, click on this button, connect your GitHub repo, and hit deploy from GitHub repo. select one repo, right? Whatever you feel like, and hit on deploy now. Very, very straightforward, right? I hope there are no doubts. Okay, awesome. Now, for the next topic, we have to connect. We have to connect web push notifications. Okay, your application should be able to send notifications whether on your Android, on your desktop. For today, we are dealing with desktop, so we will send notifications on your desktop. Seems cool, right? For this, let's first consider ourselves with Frontend. Let me just copy the index.html from somewhere. Okay. So in your index.html, we have a title, day 27. We have some text written, and we have a form where you enter the array that is for this schedule, right? You enter whatever the schedule is in an array of strings and hit submit. Okay. You have this form in your front end. It will call index.js, right? Let's create index.js. In index.js, one second, I lost you guys. Okay. In index.js, uh, before going that, we need a node module as usual, which is called web push. So let's install web push, npm install minus minus save web push. Okay. Then in your package.json in this script, you need to add a new script called generate keys. Okay. In generate keys, you need to have uh, web push. I forgot. Uh, Let me check 1 second. Yes, web push generate Wapit keys. Web push generate Wapit keys. Okay. Then you need to call npm run generate keys over here, and it will generate two keys for you, a public key and a private key. Okay. Let's save it in our .env. We are going to need this public key on both front end as well as on back end, and private key for backend. Right. This is the first thing that you require, a public key and a private key. Now, coming back to the front end, over here, first, let's put the URL for schedule. Okay. Let's call it URI. That would be HTTP localhost 1338 slash API slash v1 slash schedule. Okay, this is the URL on which we have to make a post call to submit our schedule, right? Now let's have the public key over here. Public Wapit key. is equal to this. Let us put it in a string. Right. Now you need the form data, right? So let's have constant form equal to document dot get element by ID my form. Right. Now on submitting your form, you need to do something. So form dot add event listener submit, right? You need to call a function which will get an event. Now, submitting this form, what do you want to do? First of all, let's have some try catch and have event dot prevent default. Okay, get the input array via document dot get element by ID input array dot value. Okay, to get the schedule array from that, you need to parse whatever is coming. So JSON dot parse your input array. This will give you the scheduled array, right? Now, there is something called service worker in frontend. I am not sure whether you guys have heard about it or not, but there is something called service workers in array, which is basically a thread, a different thread which does the background stuff. Okay, whatever you want to do in the background, it is done using service workers, right? That is present in the front end as well. In newer technologies, in newer browsers, that is present in your front end as well. Okay, to use that, first of all, you need to register it. We have to wait for it because it returns a promise. Navigator dot service worker dot register. Without service worker, you would be able to do web push. Why? Because even when your website is not active, even when your user closes the tab, you need to send the notifications, right? So you need something that is running in the background. So you need a service worker. Okay, I will write the service worker code in worker.js. Okay, and I have to define its scope. That should be slash. In our main thing, in our main slash URL, this service worker should get registered. Okay. Now first I need to check whether the push manager is present in is this feature is available for that browser or not. Okay. To check that, we need to see if push manager is in window object. Okay. If that is the case, then we have to alert push notifications are not supported for your browser, right? And we have to return out of it. Now, if it is supported, then we need to give notification permission. A user has to give notification permission to your website to accept some notifications. So we need to check if we have the notification permission or not. Notification dot permission is equal to denied. Then we need to alert need notification permission. Okay. Now comes the main part. Uh, let's create a subscription now. Await register dot push manager dot subscribe. Okay, there are multiple features that your service worker provides. In that, we are going to use push notifications or push manager. So we need to subscribe to that service. Okay, the user visibility needs to be true. That is, the user should be able to see it. And application server key is your public vapid key that we generated from web push, right? Remember? Then we need to make an API call. So let's make an API call to our backend server. To make an API call, we have fetch module that does the API call. In that, we pass in the URL and we pass in some options. That is, the method needs to be post. Okay. Uh, headers. In headers, the content type should be application slash JSON. Okay. And in the body, I want to send JSON dot stringify two things. One is the schedule inside schedule key and the subscription that we have just created. Okay. These two things I want to send. This subscription will have all the details of this push manager. Okay. Where is this ending? Over here. Okay. Now let's wait for the data to come. Okay, get the JSON out of it. Whatever we are returning in status 200. Okay, and console log the data. And give an alert subscription successful. If there is some error, then we alert the error. Okay, now let's create our worker.js. In worker.js, this would be running in the background. Okay, so over here, we just want to add an event listener to whatever the push notifications we are getting. Okay, you have a callback in which you will get the data that we are sending from the backend in e.data.json. Okay, now you receive the data. Now you have to show the notification. So self dot registration dot show notification. One second, let me just copy this. self.registration.show notification, whatever the title we are getting and whatever the body we are getting from the backend. Okay. So on the front end, for specifically web app, web push notifications, for specifically web push notification, first of all, you need something to be running in the background, right? Because your notification gets to you even when the app is not running. So to get something to run in the background, you need service worker. To have a service worker, you will need navigator.serviceworker.register. Okay, first you need to register to that service. So in Navigator, you have a service worker and you need to register that. This will register a JavaScript file for you, which will run in the background. Okay, so I said to run this JavaScript file in the background always. Okay, so we have worker.js running in the background for us. And the scope of this is slash. Scope means that this file will only run in the background at this URL. At no other URL, this file would be running in the background. Okay. So first you need to register to a service worker using navigator.serviceworker.register. Then you need to check whether you have the permission for sending the notification or not, right? And then you need to subscribe to the push messenger service. So the register dot push manager dot subscribe user visibility is true and the application server key is the public webpack key that we generated in the packet. Okay, this key. Now this you have subscribed to push notifications now. You can send or receive push notifications now, right? Now, your worker.js, we have said that it is running in the background. We have this worker.js. We have to add an event listener for push notifications in which we will get an event. This event, the data that we send from the backend will be inside e.data.json. We set it in a constant, right? And we show it using this link, registration.show notification. Okay. To check uh, whether your browser has this or not. This needs to be the yes. Yes, Harsh. We are putting not in this. That means if this is false, you have your push notification does is not supported by your browser. Okay. Any doubts in the front end side? Have a look at the front end code. Uh, I'm giving you 1 minute if you guys have any doubt. Let me zoom out a little bit so that you guys can see the code. Navigator.serviceworker.register, then check for push messages, notification permission, and then subscribe to push manager. Okay. I'm returning back in a minute. Put your doubts in the comments. My audio is visible. Okay. Self. So we have learned about the concept of this, right? Haruna, we have learned about the concept of this. In an object, if there is an object, say var a, we have b as 1 and c as a function. Then if I want to access b, then I will write this dot b. Okay, this will give me 1. In the same way, in place of this, whenever we are doing something in the backend or in the service worker, in place of this, we have self. This has the access of whatever the service worker instances. Okay. To remove any doubts between the main thread and the background thread, in place of this, we have self. Understood now? No, Palia, if it is not supported, you won't be able to send it. Right? But in some settings or some experimental uh, tags, some of the browsers keep it not supported by default, but you can check in the experimental tab to make it supported. Right. Let's close all of this and let's get working on the backend side. On the backend, we have schedule controller where we are getting the API, right? In this, first of all, we need web push, require web push, right? We need the public key from process.env. So we require .env over here, dot config. I'm not sure whether .env is installed in this or not. Let me install it. Great. We need public key from process dot env dot public key. Similarly, we need the private key from process dot env dot private key, right? And over here, first we need to set this private key. We need to make the configurations, right? We have required the module. Now we need to call some function, right? That is the steps, so on. We have set vapid details. This will set all the details, okay? Now over here, whenever you click on notification, web notification specifically, you are usually directed to some URL or you are directed to an email. Okay. So if you want to direct to an email, you write mail to colon and your email ID. Suppose test@test.com. Okay. It will automatically find out what email sender you are using. For example, if you have opened Gmail, it will try to open Gmail and put this email ID for you so that you can directly send an email to this whenever you click on the notification. Okay. Or if you have any URL to which you want to redirect it to, you write the URL over here. Then you pass in the public key and the private key to this function and you are all set to go. Okay. Now Over here, with schedule, you will also get subscription. Okay, from frontend with the frontend configuration of the public key. Okay, you would want to save it in Redis as well, so that you can use it at any place, right? Because the subscription that frontend is sending is only accessible inside this function, right? If you want to use it in send message maybe, then we have to get it from Redis, so that the front end configurations we can get and send the web push notification specific to that client, right? Nothing else. You simply have to write web push dot send notification. Okay, first with the subscription, then whatever you want to send with json.stringify again. Right. There, I was using two keys, right? In worker.js, I was expecting a title and a body. So here, I need to send a title. Uh, let's say Devsnest, and a body. Let's say first push notification. Okay, and you're all done. On the backend, you simply need this line, just like any other uh, module. You first require it, call some function with the configuration, then do its job, right? So first you need to set the webpack details with whatever, clicking on which you want to go to whichever URL or send an email, right? Then the public key and the private key, and then use webpush.send notification. And that's it. That is all the code that you want. Let's test it out. Invalid URL input. Where is this coming from? Okay, okay, okay. Because we are working on localhost, let's remove the Redis configuration that we have set it for that thing. Okay, server is running on 1338 and connected to Redis. Let's test it out. Localhost 1338. You have this UI. You send an array of strings to it. You hit submit. Require is not defined. Okay, did I require it in index.js or what? Okay, this you don't require. Okay, let's try again. Hit submit. A subscription with the same already exists. Okay, if you get this, come over here in the application. There is a service worker already registered. Come to the top. You unregister this. You clear the site data. See, you have the service worker over here. And if you want to see if you are getting a push messaging, you have push messaging over here in the bottom. This tab is application tab. Okay, and in the last you see the push messaging. Right, let's refresh, try one more time. Subscribe on push message and subscription fail. No active service worker. Let's refresh once more. Service worker takes time to register. Response is not defined. In our index.js. Okay, spelling mistake again. Right. Let's try it one more time. Sorry for all the confusion. Subscription successful. Do I get a notification? Yes, I get a notification over here. Can you guys see? I would be able to zoom this. Can you guys see? I received this notification Devsnest from localhost 1338 and the message first push notification. Are you guys able to see this? Yes? Awesome. Awesome. Right. So this is how you send notifications. Let me revise once again. On the front end, you need something called service worker that runs in the background. You can see service workers over here if some is registered or not. Okay, in the application, then service workers, you would see that HTTP localhost 1338 has registered a worker.js. Okay, and you can see the push messaging over here. Okay, so on the front end side, first you require a service worker. For First of all, you need to register to a service worker. For doing that, you need navigator.serviceworker.register and whatever file you want to run in the background with the scope. Okay. Then you need to check whether the push messages is supported or not and whether you have notification permission or not. Then you need to subscribe to the push manager service of this service worker, right? You pass in the public wrapped key to that and user visibility as true. You pass this subscription to the backend, whatever you are getting from this back to the backend. Okay, where is backend? We have the backend over here. We get the subscription. On the backend, we need a push, web push. Then we need to set the public and private key. So public web push dot set wrapper details, whatever the URL or mail to, and then the public key and the private key. Then simply web push dot send notification with the subscription that frontend is sending. Okay. Whatever you want to send, use json.stringify. It comes back to over here, worker.js, where we have attached a listener to whatever the push notifications we are receiving. And whenever we receive the data, whatever we want to do, we write it over here. Okay. Simply, if you want to show show the notification, you use self.registration.show notification. Always remember this is running in the background. Okay. Till the time this website is active, this is running in the background. So one more line you would like to add. It is out of scope of this project, but you would like to unregister the service worker whenever you are done. Okay. Understood? Any doubt? On the front end, you need a background thing, right? Which will accept all the notifications, even if you close this website. So you need service workers. To have service worker, you need index.js. Over here, this index.js. navigator.serviceworker.register, whatever file you want to run in the background with the scope. Then you subscribe to push manager with the public key. Okay. And you send the subscription back to backend. Whenever backend receives it, it sends you the notification using webpush.send notification. The subscription that content is sending with the data that whatever we want, right? To get it into public key and to private key, you set webpush.set wrapper details, public key and private key. How do you get public key and private key? In your package.json, you need to add this script, webpush generate puppet keys. It will generate two keys for you. You can either set it in environment or you can save it in the file itself. Right. No doubts. Cool thing to learn. Whoever wanted to implement it in your project, did you learn, Harsh? Awesome. Awesome. Okay. I hope this concept was not too difficult, right? Chalo. This was all for today's class. You have learned deployment and you have learned web push notifications. Enjoy creating your project. I will see you in Mahasabha VC. Peace.